So, um, have you ever found yourself like relentlessly chasing a really significant financial goal?
Hmm.
Maybe a specific income level you had in mind.
Yeah, or, that dream purchase you'd been eyeing for years.
Exactly. Or maybe hitting a certain net worth figure, that number you were focused on,
Right.
and then you achieved it. You
Well,
finally got there.
and the feeling wasn't quite what you expected.
Yeah, instead of that profound contentment you thought you'd feel, you were kind of left with this uh, lingering sense of unfulfillment.
A surprising emptiness almost.
Right, where you thought joy would just be overflowing.
Yeah.
It's this feeling, this void money can't fill.
It's a remarkably common experience.
But we rarely talk about it in depth, do we?
No, it's almost taboo, like admitting that hitting that big financial milestone didn't magically fix everything.
It truly is a curious phenomenon, isn't it?
It is. We're so often conditioned, I think, to believe that those external markers of success.
Especially the financial ones.
Yeah, especially those. That they're the ultimate key to, an internal sense of meaning, self-acceptance.
We chase these numbers, these things, these statuses, convinced they'll bring lasting happiness.
But the reality, like you just described, is often really quite different, surprisingly stark sometimes.
That's really the core of it. So in this deep dive, we're going to try and tackle that fundamental question.
Okay.
Why do so many of us fall into this belief trap? Convinced that external achievements, particularly the money ones, hold the key to internal meaning and self-acceptance.
And what actually works? What truly, genuinely leads to that lasting sense of purpose and real contentment?
Our guide for today's exploration is, well, the insightful philosophy presented by a brilliant author. His work acts like a powerful mirror, really.
Reflecting our own psychology.
Exactly. The intricate human psychology behind our financial choices. He argues that our relationship with wealth is far more personal, more complex than just numbers in an account.
It offers some profound insights into the human condition, doesn't it?
It really does. So let's unpack this fascinating perspective.
What I find particularly compelling about his philosophy is how it recognizes that our perception of money isn't static at all.
Right.
It changes. It's deeply tangled up with our personal journey, our evolution as people. It's not just about the absolute amount.
But what it means to us.
Yes, what that amount represents to us. And maybe even more importantly, what life itself represents to us, at different stages.
That observation leads us perfectly into our first segment, the shifting game.
Okay.
Because, you see, life is anything but a static game. It doesn't have fixed rules or just one single finish line.
Not at all.
Our goals, what we even define as the game, well, they're in constant flux. What we strive for at one stage of life might become utterly irrelevant later on.
Or even counterproductive.
Yeah. It's kind of like trying to win a chess match when you're still using the rules of checkers.
That's a great analogy. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, well, consider the journey of the author whose work we're exploring.
His background.
His early life was profoundly shaped by this intense pursuit of excellence in a competitive sport, ski racing, specifically.
Not just a hobby, then.
Oh, no. This was an all-consuming commitment, started super young. He spent like 10 months a year immersed in it,
Wow.
traveling all over the world. And this demanded not just extreme physical dedication, but also a unique approach to education.
How so?
He describes how he and his peers pretty much bypassed traditional high school. They did this independent study program. By his own admission, basically a joke. Just enough to get a diploma at 16.
Huh.
So this distinct phase of his life, this singular, intense focus on athletic achievement, it really shaped his initial worldview, his aspirations.
Defined what winning meant back then.
Exactly. It was a game of speed, precision, individual accolades. That was the game he was playing.
That's incredible to imagine, though. Your whole teenage life revolving around something so specific, so high stakes, demanding a global lifestyle. It definitely molds you. Creates a very particular identity, a specific set of aspirations. You're playing a game measured in fractions of a second podium finishes. But then life happens, doesn't it? As it always does. It throws curveballs. The game changes.
It absolutely does. And life milestones are probably the clearest examples of these game changers.
Like what?
Well, significant events like forming a family, getting married, becoming a parent. These fundamentally redefine your priorities. What matters most shifts.
The whole game board changes.
Completely. The game shifts from maybe individual achievement like race times or personal awards in our author's youth to much broader responsibilities, relationships.
Your definition of success just morphs.
Totally. Like when you become a parent, right, your focus naturally shifts. It's less about piling up personal wealth or status.
And more about
Providing emotional security, maybe, carving out quality time, fostering growth in your kids, ensuring a stable environment for your loved ones.
metrics just change completely.
Right. Success isn't just your net worth anymore. It's about the well-being, the development of your family. It's a profound reorientation.
So, okay, if you've spent years playing one game,
Yeah.
diligently saving, accumulating resources specifically for that objective, what happens when the game changes entirely? This is where that idea of the inadequacy of past wealth really hits home.
Yeah, the money or resources you gathered for that previous game, they can become functionally useless, or at least way less impactful for the new one.
It's like bringing a perfectly tuned Formula One car to a family camping trip.
Exactly. It might look impressive parked there, but it's the wrong tool for the new journey.
Totally wrong tool.
Let's expand on that a bit. Imagine someone who dedicated their 20s, early 30s to building a huge tech startup.
Okay. Driven by.
Maybe the desire to make it big, get those symbols of personal status, the penthouse, the fancy car, the exclusive club membership.
Right, that kind of game.
That wealth, acquired purely for that personal status, or maybe just to project an image of success. It might offer very little genuine comfort or utility when their priorities shift.
Like when they have kids.
Exactly. Say their main priority becomes providing emotional security or just carving out quality time with their young children. That huge penthouse might suddenly feel empty.
The fancy car sits in the garage while they're in soccer practice.
Precisely. And those exclusive club memberships, they don't offer much solace if your new goal is just being present and engaged with your family.
That's a really powerful illustration. The tangible financial achievement is still there, right? The bank account might look great.
But it fails to fill that new, evolved void because it was earned for a different game, a different set of aspirations that are now kind of obsolete.
It creates this profound disconnect. The money was the means to an end for a game you're not even playing anymore.
And its purpose hasn't evolved with you.
Yeah, it almost highlights a kind of hedonic adaptation, but applied to life goals themselves, not just, pleasures or possessions.
Exactly. And this isn't just about those huge life shifts like becoming a parent.
Wow.
Think about a high-powered professional. Spends years building their career, driven by getting a specific title or hitting a certain income bracket.
They get there.
They reach it, but then maybe there's a health scare or just a deep philosophical shift in their values.
And they realize
they now crave more time for hobbies, personal growth, maybe contributing to a cause they really care about.
Ah.
The wealth they accumulated, working those insane hours, getting those status symbols, it might not easily translate into the freedom or flexibility they need for these new aspirations.
Right, liquidating assets isn't always easy or cheap.
And the mindset, that relentless drive forged in pursuing one goal, it doesn't automatically just adapt to a new, more balanced one.
So this raises a really important question then. If our goals are always shifting, how can we ever truly feel complete or satisfied just by reaching a financial target? If that target is constantly moving or just losing its relevance?
That's a profound point, isn't it? It really highlights how deeply personal and how constantly evolving our relationship with money truly is.
And speaking of how we relate money to others and external validation, that leads us right into our next segment. The mirage of external validation.
Ah, yes, the comparison trap.
Because even when the game shifts, or maybe especially when it shifts, one constant often remains right.
Which is
that pervasive, sometimes unconscious compulsion to compare ourselves to others.
Oh, it's almost universal, isn't it? Humans just seem wired for comparison.
Totally.
For most of history, that benchmark for keeping up was pretty localized. Your literal neighbors, colleagues.
People in your immediate circle.
Right. You see what they have, what they're doing, and that becomes your frame of reference for what's normal or, successful.
It's that social proof thing, right? If they have it, it must be good.
Exactly. But in certain professions, especially those highly visible, super competitive ones like elite sports,
The stakes are way higher.
exponentially higher. And the comparisons get severely skewed. Our source talks a lot about how pro athletes experience this.
How so?
Well, a player earning millions, literally millions of dollars a year.
Which is already an insane amount of money.
Right. But they might still feel profoundly inadequate if a teammate earns tens of millions, or if another peer has a more lucrative endorsement deal.
Wow.
This kind of skewed comparison set against an already inflated reality, it can breed just profound dissatisfaction, despite immense personal wealth.
You're living a life most people can only dream of.
Mm.
Yet your internal barometer is screaming you're not doing well enough just because of the extreme financial world you inhabit.
It's a constant, relentless treadmill of relative dissatisfaction.
What's even more fascinating, maybe and often overlooked, is the stark reality of financial mismanagement that often goes along with this.
You mean athletes going broke?
Yeah, the statistics are shocking. A vast majority of professional athletes, like upwards of 80% in some studies,
Face significant financial struggles or even ruin within just a few years of retirement.
And it isn't always because they're just buying mansions and fleets of flashy cars for themselves, although that happens too.
So what else is going on?
More often, it stems from immense pressure. Pressure to support extended family, their community, coupled with these really high-cost social expectations.
Like what kind of expectations?
Imagine the constant pressure to pay for every meal when you're out with friends or family,
Okay.
or funding entrepreneurial ventures for relatives,
Yeah.
or providing event tickets for huge groups of family and community members every single time you're in a new city.
That sounds relentless
Yeah.
and staggering.
It is. It's a huge, often invisible burden.
Yeah.
People see the multi-millions reported in the news.
Headlines about the massive contracts.
Right, but they don't see the millions that are just expected to be spent on others, or the constant small drains that, over time, add up to something catastrophic.
That financial drain is rarely visible to outsiders.
So you get this scenario where the money, no matter how much seems to be coming in, is just quickly depleted by these external demands. And the crushing pressure to maintain a certain image support that network.
The perception of abundance just masks a reality of rapid depletion.
And this feeds directly into that larger illusion of social display, doesn't it?
It does. Our author shares this really profound realization from someone working in a service role for the wealthy, a valet at a high-end hotel.
Oh, yeah. What did the valet notice?
He observed that when a really lavish car pulls up, nobody truly admires the person inside.
Really? What are they thinking then?
Instead, they imagine themselves owning that car, driving it, experiencing that lifestyle. People are fundamentally preoccupied with their own aspirations, their own desires.
Not with the individual who happens to possess the wealth.
Exactly. You buy that luxury item thinking you're going to project success, garner admiration.
But the audience isn't really thinking about you.
Nope. They're thinking about how they would look with it, or how that item fits into their dreams. It's a constant internal monologue they're having.
That's such a simple observation, but wow, it's incredibly powerful. It totally flips the script on why we often strive for these external displays. We think we're buying admiration, but we're really just fueling other people's fantasies about themselves.
And today, modern digital platforms, social media, they just amplify this illusion exponentially.
Oh, for sure. The new Joneses aren't just your actual neighbors anymore.
No, they're this globally curated highlight reel. Statistical perfection, perfect bodies, perfect vacations, perfect careers, perfect families.
All meticulously optimized to generate envy.
Yeah. And what's presented is so often this faux happiness, right? A highly edited, filtered version of reality.
Which makes comparisons inherently unfair. Deeply misleading.
You're comparing your messy, authentic backstage life to someone else's perfectly polished, airbrushed front stage performance.
How can you possibly measure yourself against something that isn't even real?
It's like trying to win a game where all your opponents are playing with cheat codes. Or worse, they're just like animated projections.
Everyone curates their image, right? Even the people posting.
Yeah.
Often unconsciously.
Which creates this unbridgeable gap between the online appearance and the actual messy, complicated real life behind it.
That fundamental attribution error comes in too, doesn't it? We blame our struggles on circumstances, but their success.
We attribute to their inherent qualities or hard work, ignoring unseen advantages, or just plain luck.
You see the shiny outside, but none of the struggle, the fear, the imperfection, or the sheer effort it takes to maintain that facade.
It's a recipe for feeling inadequate.
So how do you break free from this mirage then? Our source offers a really interesting counter-narrative.
Okay.
A powerful story about a young professional athlete. High draft pick, multi-million-dollar contract.
So right in that high-pressure environment.
Exactly. But he chose to drive a modest, older vehicle. He describes it as just a humble utility vehicle, not even the fancy version.
Wow. In that world, that must have been unpopular.
Incredibly unpopular with his peers, as you'd imagine. He endured significant ridicule, huge social pressure to conform to the lavish spending habits that were common.
What did they say?
They would literally clown him, ask him why he wasn't living a little, point out that other guys had multiple luxury cars while he drove this basic thing. Constant questioning, teasing, urging him to spend.
So what was his motivation for resisting?
It was this deep-seated, almost visceral fear of financial precarity. It stemmed from a background of scarcity.
Ah.
He talks about being absolutely petrified of going broke because he'd come from nothing. He'd seen firsthand the devastating impact of financial instability.
So that fear wasn't paralyzing for him?
No. Crucially, it wasn't paralyzing. It was a powerful, consistent driver for long-term financial security. It was a constant reminder of what he desperately wanted to avoid.
And that outweighed the immediate desire for social acceptance, fitting in.
Completely. His ability to prioritize that long-term security over the immediate social acceptance over being cool was a distinct and truly rare advantage in that world.
He found liberation in just not caring about the external validation.
Yeah, he had this early, almost preemptive realization. He figured, I'm never going to be cool in the way his peers were. He knew his personal financial story was lame and boring to them.
And he embraced that.
Crucially, yes. He decided to truly not give a shit, as he put it, about what others thought of his financial choices.
That's resilience.
It demonstrates that true financial resilience often comes from just having the courage to say no to immense external pressure, no matter how intense it gets or how much ridicule you face.
That quiet act of defiance, it's a profound testament to the idea that real wealth isn't just what you accumulate for others to see.
It's about self-possession, freedom from their judgment.
That takes incredible mental fortitude, though, especially at a young age when peer pressure is just so potent.
It really does.
Yeah.
And it's a powerful lesson in understanding what truly drives our financial decisions and how often those drivers are deeply internal. Even when they manifest in external actions, like buying a car or not buying one. And that brings us nicely to our third segment, the real engine, fear and identity.
Okay. Because the story of the author whose insights we're exploring today, it's a perfect illustration of this, isn't it?
Absolutely. How our deepest fears and our evolving sense of self profoundly shape our relationship with money and purpose.
His professional path was so far from predetermined or conventional, which makes his insights, I think, even more compelling.
Yeah, we touched on it earlier. His youth consumed by that rigorous competitive sport.
Leading to that bypassed formal education. He describes finishing his ski racing career at 18 with what he felt was basically an 8th grade education.
And that impacted him.
Deeply. He felt acutely aware of this deficit. He said he felt like an idiot compared to his peers who were heading off to college. And he admits it created this significant chip on his shoulder, deep-seated low self-confidence, specifically in academic areas.
So his early sense of self-worth was really tied to that specific athletic identity.
Very much so. But what's even more striking is the profound turning point that forced him to confront all this and fundamentally redefine his identity.
What happened?
His athletic career ended abruptly, dramatically. At age 18, it was due to truly tragic personal losses.
Oh, no.
2 of his best friends were killed in an avalanche while skiing with him, and then just 2 months later, he broke his back skiing.
Yeah.
Career over.
It's devastating. At 18.
Yeah. So young age, minimal traditional education, a severe injury, profound loss. He faced just immense uncertainty about his future.
Terrifying.
He describes it exactly like that. Terrifying. A complete void. He just didn't know what he was supposed to do with his life. His entire identity, everything wrapped up in being a ski racer, gone. Vanished overnight.
Wow.
But that terrifying phase, that not knowing his direction, it ultimately proved to be a powerful catalyst. Painful, but powerful.
How so?
He reflects on how fear can either paralyze you or propel you forward. Initially, he was plagued by that low self-confidence, feeling like an idiot with no skills in any traditional sense.
Right.
But eventually, he channeled that fear into action. He explicitly says being that scared did a lot for him.
It pushed him.
It compelled him to run as fast as I can in the other direction from the path of least resistance. For him, that would have been working minimum wage in a service job, something he desperately wanted to avoid because of his background.
So it wasn't passion driving him initially?
No, not at all. It was primal fear, fear of precarity, and a deep desire for something more, even if he had no idea what that more was yet.
And what an unexpected direction he ended up taking.
Totally. Out of what he calls sheer desperation, needing any job that wasn't minimum wage, he accepted a role writing about financial markets for an online platform.
Okay. Did he like it?
He hated it initially. He admits being embarrassed, thinking, I wanted to be an investment banker, and now I'm a blogger. How did this happen?
Felt like a step down.
Yeah, it felt humiliating to him. A stark contrast to the powerful financial career he'd once envisioned, or the glory of his past athletic life.
But then?
Yet, over time, a really profound shift occurred. He grew to love the work. He realized it offered him this unique perspective.
Which was?
That of an objective outside observer. He wasn't in the trenches, as he put it, like investment bankers or hedge fund managers often are.
Who can be biased.
Exactly. Biased by professional incentives, emotional attachment to their positions, the intense pressure of performance targets.
But he was detached.
His position allowed him to analyze broader societal and psychological patterns related to money without those inherent insider biases. He could observe how people interacted with wealth from a more detached, analytical viewpoint.
And that was his epiphany.
That was it. Money wasn't just numbers on a screen. It was a window into human behavior, psychology.
And this leads directly to his core insight, doesn't it?
Yeah.
His real fascination with finance evolved into realizing that money is this profound window
Into our individual psychology, our identity, our deepest insecurities.
It's not merely about data points, charts, spreadsheets.
No. It's about who we are, what drives us, our self-confidence, our fears, how we fundamentally think about life, purpose, our place in the world.
Our financial decisions are often less about logic.
And much more about deeply ingrained emotional responses. Fear, desire, insecurity.
This is so critical. It really reinforces that idea we started with.
Yeah.
The void money can't fill. It's often rooted in an identity crisis.
A fundamental lack of purpose, maybe, or self-acceptance.
Yeah.
Understanding your core being.
Yeah, rather than just a lack of funds, you can have all the money in the world, the biggest house, the fastest car.
But if you don't know who you are, what your real purpose is, or if you're constantly seeking external validation to define your worth.
That emptiness just persists. The money becomes like a magnificent gilded cage, maybe, rather than a source of freedom.
It's a profound paradox, and he makes a really significant observation about this too, which is how independent wealth can paradoxically diminish the very motivation that led to its accumulation in the first place.
Huh. The drive that got you to the top can actually erode once you're there.
Examples are everywhere, especially in high-performance fields. Once individuals become independently wealthy, their competitive hunger, that primal drive, it often wanes.
Like a legendary athlete.
Exactly. Someone driven by the need to prove themselves, coming from humble beginnings. They might lose a step, lack the same intensity, once they've secured their financial future and won everything.
The scared impetus is gone. The fear of failure or poverty isn't driving them anymore.
Right. And you see the same pattern in big, established corporations. They can lose their innovative edge once extreme profitability is achieved, once their market position feels secure.
They lack that scared impetus, that desperate urgency that drove their ascent.
Yeah. Companies like, a huge aerospace giant or a tech pioneer, once they were lean and hungry, but they can become slow, complacent, risk-averse when the threat of failure recedes. They start resting on their laurels.
This is so relatable, actually. The author himself acknowledges this phenomenon, right? Reflecting on his own work habits.
He does. He openly admits he probably doesn't work as hard in terms of sheer hours or that relentless grind as he did maybe a decade ago. And while he rationalizes it, saying now he only wants to pursue projects of true value and impact,
he recognizes the underlying motivation has shifted.
He recognizes that the underlying fire of pure necessity has diminished, which leads to another interesting dynamic. As success builds.
So do the expectations.
Exactly. The internal and external expectations for continued high performance just keep rising.
That sounds exhausting.
It can be.
Yeah.
The challenge becomes not just performing, but constantly being measured against the best version of your former self, or against this ever-escalating bar of what counts as success.
Like if your first book is a massive hit.
The expectation for your second is already sky high, almost impossibly high. Even if the second book is objectively better written, more insightful, it might still be perceived as a disappointment if it doesn't achieve the same commercial splash.
That constant comparison must be tough.
Both self-imposed and externally driven, yeah?
Yeah.
It makes continued progress feel exceptionally difficult. It can really stifle creativity and joy, just that pressure to always exceed rather than simply create or contribute.
But conversely,
Yeah.
establishing a degree of financial security can act as a powerful unlock, right?
Or absolutely. Instead of being a deterrent to motivation, it can actually provide the freedom to take calculated risks.
Risks you couldn't take before.
Exactly. Pursue opportunities that align more closely with your personal passion, your values, rather than being dictated solely by a desperate need for income.
Like taking a pay cut for a job you love.
Yeah, or leaving a high-paying but soul-crushing job to start your own thing, or pursue a creative path with uncertain financial return.
It gives you the power to choose.
The power to say no to what doesn't align with your deepest self, and yes, to what truly fuels your spirit.
Like that famous investor quote about leaving kids enough money to do anything, but not so much they do nothing.
Precisely. It's about enabling choice, not fostering inertia. It's about using money as a tool for self-actualization, for truly defining your game on your terms.
This perfectly illustrates how money, maybe in its optimal state, becomes that tool for self-actualization, a means to achieve personal freedom, purpose.
Rather than being the end goal itself, it liberates you to play the game you truly want to play, not the one you feel forced to play.
That shift in perspective is maybe the most profound takeaway here.
I think so too.
And that brings us neatly to the synthesis of all these incredible insights and some key takeaways for you, our listener.
Okay.
We've seen how that relentless pursuit of money, while it seems tangible, often alluring, it frequently fails to address those deeper non-financial voids.
Voids related to meaning, purpose, self-acceptance.
Yeah. It's often a misdiagnosis, isn't it? Trying to solve a spiritual or psychological problem with just a financial solution.
We've also explored how our life's game is constantly shifting, which renders old financial goals kind of obsolete.
Requiring constant internal recalibration.
Exactly. What truly mattered to you at 20, maybe independence, worldly success is unlikely to be the main driver at 40 or 60.
When family, legacy, contribution might take precedence.
Right. And the financially successful strategies you used in one phase might actually hinder your contentment in the next one.
And that relentless quest for external validation, especially amplified by those carefully curated digital platforms.
It's not just illusory and ultimately unsatisfying. It's dangerous.
Yeah, it's a hamster wheel. Comparing yourself against a manufactured reality, it consumes vast amounts of mental, emotional, even financial energy.
Without ever delivering real contentment. The psychological toll of constantly performing for that imagined audience is just immense.
And crucially, we've hopefully understood that the true engine of our financial motivations often isn't just aspiration. It's rooted in deep-seated fears, our evolving sense of identity.
Money as a mirror.
Right. Reflecting our insecurities, our past traumas, our deepest aspirations, understanding why we pursue money, and what fears it might be trying to quiet.
That's far more important than just how much we accumulate.
So what does this all mean for you, navigating your own financial journey?
It means embracing imperfection, maybe? And your own personal truths?
Yeah. True contentment seems to stem not from conquering our psychological flaws or eradicating our insecurities,
but from becoming profoundly aware of them.
It's okay to be irrational sometimes, or emotional, or insecure. We aren't spreadsheets or calculators.
We're complex, hormonal, emotional, insecure people, and that's perfectly fine. Maybe that's what makes us uniquely human.
The key seems to be making decisions with that self-knowledge, acknowledging those traits exist rather than pretending they don't or trying to suppress them.
Which raises an important point. If we're all so different, so unique, can there really be one universal right way to manage money?
The answer seems pretty clearly no, doesn't it?
Unequivocally no. Our financial habits, how we save, spend, invest, they're deeply personal reflections
of our unique life experiences, our evolving identities, even our subconscious fears.
So judging other people's financial paths or seeking that generic one-size-fits-all advice from strangers, it often misses the mark entirely.
Because they don't know your story, your background, your unique emotional landscape.
It brings to mind that profound principle often used in fields like social work and psychology.
Which one?
All behavior makes sense with enough information.
Right. Every financial choice,
Yeah.
no matter how irrational it looks from the outside.
That's a story, a deeply personal motivation behind it.
Whether someone's an extreme saver because of background of scarcity and fear,
Or a lavish spender seeking recognition or trying to fill that void of self-worth.
their behavior makes perfect sense when you understand their context, their history, They're internal drivers.
You just can't truly understand someone's financial decisions without understanding their life.
This is why, paradoxically maybe, the advice from a close friend or family member who genuinely knows you,
Understands your personality, your fears, your real aspirations.
even if they aren't a financial professional, that advice might actually be more valuable than generic advice from an expert who only sees you as numbers on a balance sheet.
Because they understand the why behind your what. They see the person, not just the portfolio.
So here's a provocative thought for you to carry forward. As you reflect on your own relationship with money, the most valuable financial advice you will ever receive, it probably isn't about specific market strategies or budgeting tactics or the latest investment vehicles.
What is it then?
It's about a deep, unflinching understanding of yourself.
Mm.
What are your true motivations? What unacknowledged fears or insecurities might be driving your decisions right now? What core purpose are you genuinely seeking?
Until you truly understand the game you are playing.
And the unique, complex player you are.
Any amount of money, however vast.
Might ultimately just feel like a temporary bandage over a deeper, more personal void.
It's a journey of self-discovery, really.
One that pays dividends far beyond your bank account.